Wednesday, again, typical Wednesday practice like we always do. Finish with 2 minute. Still improving in a lot of areas and still got miles to go. Keeping the whole focus on physicality, execution, effort, playing with attention to detail, all things that we always do. So I won't bore you with all that stuff, but open to questions.
Looked like AB was good to go.
He's good to go.
All right, let's talk.
He's good to go. Troy Franklin's good to go. Mace is good to go. Swinson, doubtful, questionable. I don't know what those terms mean, but one or the other. KT is really improving, so I hate to still be kind of out there not knowing, but it's still day to day, but it's close. We're getting real close, so we're very encouraged by what we see there. Stephen Jones is good. I'm trying to think who else that didn't play. Keith Brown's good, so that's where we're at right now with injuries.
Having all those guys back, does it just give you like an extra juice? Not that it wasn't lacking, but knowing you're getting close to being at full power of ability of roster?
Well, I wouldn't say we're at full power now. We're missing a lot of guys that, are really, really good football players. So it's good. You want guys to practice extensively because that's when they're really good, right? That's when they bring a lot of value to the table. So, but it is encouraging. The most important thing is just practicing hard and practicing to a certain level, and that's what we're going to push. That's what we're going to keep emphasizing, the preparation. And all focus is on that. Conference play has begun. We know how that is. Every single week is a playoff game, every single one. Everybody has good players. Everybody's capable of making plays, and everybody's capable of beating anybody. I think we clearly understand that. We're going to drive it home relentlessly and just keep working.
For players like Keith who missed their entire high school football season last year, how much did that actually impact some of those freshmen coming in?
That's a great question. It does, significantly. And luckily for him, he came in January. So I feel like he made up for a lot of that in the spring and in the summer. When you really saw it turn the corner was towards the end of fall camp. When now he starts, a linebacker's got to be able to trigger, right? Diagnose in split seconds and go, right? Put his foot on the gas and go make a play. And towards the end of the fall, you saw that. Everything became clear. The game slowed down for him and he was able to go. But without question, guys that missed time, yeah, you could see it at least in the early parts of spring that they felt the effects of that.
Not just with Keith, but in addition to all the early enrollees, how important was it for them to get that spring in, especially now that you're getting down in the depth chart at some of these positions and maybe the extra 4 or 5 months that they had of training is coming up big now?
It's invaluable. I mean, you probably see it strongest in the tight end position, right? Those guys played extensively. Caught a little bit of the backs playing the other day, but those guys are ready to roll as well. It's a good chunk of offensive linemen that are ready to go. Keith is a linebacker, obviously. I'm trying to think who else. There's guys in the secondary that are ready to play as well. Damon David has missed some time. He's just about ready to go this game as well. If he's not ready for this one, he'll be ready for the next one. So all that time that they were here and took those valuable reps, it's paid off.
We were talking to Tim earlier this week about DJ Johnson's role potentially elevating on defense. Do you view him as a guy that could maybe go both ways throughout the season, or what are you seeing there?
Yeah, and not many people can do that. That's a lot of time it's thrown out there. No one's done it successfully since, I don't know, maybe Bo Jackson. Maybe I'm wrong there. I don't watch the NFL much. He is a guy that can do it for a couple of reasons. He's highly intelligent, highly motivated. He invests time. He's already graduated, so he's already taken care of his academics. He's hungry. Like he wants the team to win. And you guys have seen him at both positions be very effective. So just he's pouring more time into it, the playbook, extra meeting time, just hunting down the coaches, and he's excelling. He's more than just a plug-in guy. He's excelling at both positions. So, for his future and for the program presently, it drives up his value.
Given how well the freshman tight ends are playing, does that kind of maybe strengthen his case for being more available on defense?
It certainly helps. Certainly if we get in a situation where, man, now we already got hit pretty hard and we're down a certain amount, it certainly gives you that flexibility. He has a lot of value on the offensive side as well. You don't want to lose that. But should there be a situation like that, naturally you would have to make a move like that.
This is a little bit of a unique challenge with preparing for their multiple quarterbacks, just because this isn't gamesmanship, Mario. This is very much like when Jed says they really don't know, they really very much don't know. And there's just finite tape on all three of these guys.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, they all do things differently. They all do things really well, and they've got speed. They've got game breakers On the offensive side of the ball, they got a good and a big and experienced offensive line. Receiver-wise, who also doubles as a punt returner, kick returner. I mean, they're explosive football players. So when they're in sync, they've shown how dangerous that they can be. So you got to prepare for a lot. So you got to be really sound. You got to be really disciplined. Your practices have to be on point because you have to rep a lot of stuff. And I'm sure they want it that way. They want to spread thin so that we do got to prepare for a lot of different things and them try to find their groove. So we know that the challenge that comes with that, we just got to keep preparing and preparing well.
You mentioned him a little bit there in passing, but just what makes Berry Hill unique compared to other guys who are in multiple facets, other all-purpose kind of style players?
Just explosive. I think he leads the country in all-purpose yards, if I'm not mistaken. Just his ability to go 0 to 60, make a guy miss. You just don't see people. You don't see the first guy make a tackle much on him. He's a very good blocker. He could run by you. Very polished in what he does with his hands and his feet and setting himself up down the field. So, just all in all, just an excellent football player.
DJ James got beat a couple times deep, but overall, how would you assess the play at corner last weekend?
Was solid. He had some plays he'd like to have back, and which is good. We got to really get on our guys about the importance of eye discipline and playing with great technique. It goes back to this. We see it every single week. Every team has good players in some way, shape, or form. And if you're not at your best, you're going to get your butt beat. And whoever thinks differently, that's just an arrogant disregard for the game of football and doing things right. And that's what we can never have. So, and I don't think DJ has that, but we make sure that we hammer the right things home all the time so that we can be consistent. The key to this whole thing is being consistent in how you play the next play, right? And we got to make sure that every single play is max effort, and once that one's done, boom, it's the next one. And to create the type of consistency that we need to create momentum.
With that in mind, when film review on Sunday in particular, then where does that coverage sack rank? Because it wasn't just that Suava gets credit for it and the D-line got penetration. It's against max protect, and it's on the same play, basically, that they hit you for, that everybody adjusted, and I'm not sure anybody didn't do their job particularly well. The whole defense played well
Where does
on
it
that.
rank
Like
in terms of
when you're assessing that play and you go, all right, we got hit on this earlier, now we're watching and going, the in-game adjustment, the maturity for everybody to execute at that, throughout the course of the game.
It's a good indication that if guys do their job well, somebody's going to find a way to the ball. The other part too is you have different parameters for different parts of it, right? Your screen game, the ball's out in 0.9. Your quick game, it's out in 1.9. Your quick five's out in 2.3 to 2.7. So you've got to get there before that ball comes out, or you got to be in great coverage to provide more time to get there. So when it's max protection, obviously a little bit more. It should be a little bit more, but. We always grade the integrity of the pocket on both sides of the ball. Did we break it, or did ours get broken? And certainly that was one where we were able to break through.
When you guys bench or make a move, or somebody beats someone out at a position like what happened with Camden last year, what's your guys' job as a coach to keep that person's confidence level at a certain spot where they can go into an off season?
Great question. Be honest, and then provide a path to compete and earn, just like you would for your very own son. That's what I would want. I mean, be honest. Hey, this is where we're at. This is where you are. This is where this person is. This person's going to take the reps. Now, these are the things you got to do to get better and go and win this job. And, always be encouraging. And expect a good attitude. Guy goes with a bad attitude, well, it's not going to be great. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I'm assuming he was pretty receptive to that.
He competed, man. I can't say enough good things about the way he approached that, because a lot of guys, they buckle, they turn it down, they point, they blame. He didn't. And I think that's valuable for an entire program to witness. That really drives a culture.
And how important in that process was the results that he's been able to achieve throughout? Because I can't imagine that, or I would imagine that he's looked good in practice the last 2 years, and it just maybe hasn't produced on game day. Like how important were those results?
He looked good enough in practice previously to start, but it was close. This past year, his practice reps and what he accomplished pushed ahead to the point where even though there was a guy that started at the end of the season, it was overwhelming evidence that he had to be the starter. You got to believe and trust your eyes. Regardless of the noise, the perception, that don't mean anything. The guy proved it, and then come game time, he's done it thus far, knowing that, hey, that's what it's got to be. That's what it's got to look like.
Are there certain tangible things for Camden in particular, Mario, but way of like touchback percentage? Well, it improves statistically, but somebody could just go, well, he kicked the ball harder. Well, yes, but in terms of his leg strength, are there certain tangible things that over the course of the last 2 years that he has improved by way of leg strength that you
Oh
are
yeah, I
able to
mean
share?
development takes place. I mean, but talking about the actual technique, everything has to do with his hips approach and his plant foot. And he works at it. I know that he does have some people that he does confide in, back home, and as he, during the off season that have helped him. And he's worked at every bit of it. But it was technical. It wasn't ability. So he's got a powerful leg, and his touchback ratio is pretty high this year. It's made a tremendous difference for us.
On the specialist, Tom Snee is a guy who's off to a really hot start. How integral has he been, just his improvement to you guys being a well-rounded football team in every facet?
A lot of different ways, man. That guy's special. We took Tom Snee on a Skype because we couldn't get out there to Australia to go see him. 22-hour flight, I guess either way, right? You go, and something happened where we got jammed up, ran out of days or opportunities, and somehow someone was able to film it and get us to film, and it was really impressive. But then he got here and had to adjust, right? You got to get that ball off in 2 steps, and he just worked, and he just consistently got better and better and better, and he's more than a good player. He's a weapon now.
How does a guy like that get on your radar?
Oh, we recruit. We have ways. We work. We work.
You've talked about that 2-step approach with him before. How different is it now compared to where he was at when he first got here?
Very, tremendously different. Yeah, he was longer in his footwork. He was slower in his operation time. Inefficient with his drops, and all that stuff has changed. I'm not a kicking guru, so I'm not going to be exact. I think you might want to save some of those questions for him, but those are the common, place things that we feel he's improved upon, and more than anything, it's just internally his makeup and his DNA is off the charts. The guy's a tremendous competitor.
You speak to him as just really the last year and a half for him, Mario, because everybody's had their story, but I don't think he's gone home, at all. So that's just different compared to literally anybody even else here. How he's handled that?
He's done really well, and it's like everybody, we all have family things that need to be attended to. He's been really strong, very resilient. So, he's to be commended for his mental toughness, for his resiliency, and just finding a way to continue forging forward and improving.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it.